with Majestic Entertainment News, and we are here with the filmmakers of Heart Baby. Now, we actually just saw the movie, and it was wonderful. We really enjoyed it. I think all of you out there will enjoy it too. Tell us what it is about.
It's a true story about a convict in Tennessee who was George Lee Martin. He got arrested when he first turned 18 and got 40 years. And in prison, he became a boxer, and he was undefeated. And the word spread about him around Tennessee, and they started sending in champions to fight him, and he knocked out every single one of them. And then the Olympics was following him and offered him freedom in exchange for fighting in the 1984 Olympics. And he said, nah, I ain't going. And the movie is why he stayed in prison.
Now, how did you get a hold of this story? How did you get the rights to it? How did it all come about?
I'm lucky.
Very lucky.
I'm very lucky. I'm actually really good friends with Andy Doc Dixon, who was George's best friend. And he was on the speaking circuit talking about prison reform, and I was speaking about child sexual abuse and basically, telling people to stop raping kids, go yourself. Simple. And Andy was talking about prison reform, and we hit it off and just became fast friends. And we were up one night drinking, as you do, and telling prison stories. And I was like, tell me another one. And he told me the story about George and his best friend who had died, so he thought. And I'm like, oh my God, that is the most beautiful story, and that should be a movie. And he said, it should be, Angie, and you should do it. And I was like, I will. And so I did. And this is Shawn, my producing partner, who also plays the lead, Crystal.
Now, how did you guys make? Because Crystal is an amazing part. It's like tailor-made for you, practically. So it's kind of lucky that it fell into your producing partner's hands. Or did you guys meet before the project?
We're best friends. I've known him for.
I officiated her wedding,
Yeah.
so it's like, we've been in the throes of it together.
Like,
Yeah.
what, 12 years we've known each other?
Yeah.
And so we were producing this movie together. Well, actually, I wrote this part for him. I was like, we're going to audition people. I know, because every agent was like throwing stars at this part. And I'm like, and we did audition transgender people, and I was like, Shawn is the best human to play this part. And first of all, he looks just like her. And when I showed his picture to Andy, he started crying, and that was like, that's all I needed. And so I was like, I'm going to give you this part because I think Crystal should be no offense, but an unknown. Because I didn't want to put a big star in there, because I didn't want you to get distracted by thinking, oh, that's so-and-so playing so-and-so. I wanted you to fall in love with Crystal and see the loss and the tragedy that we lost her, and really feel it, because you don't have any preconceived attachments to that actor. And I said to Shawn, I was like, I'm giving you this part, and then I own your soul.
Pretty much. That's exactly how it went. She owns my soul.
What's the big deal?
Yeah.
Now, what did you do to prepare for this part? Because you were very convincing in your role.
That's a very long list.
Yeah.
It started about 6 months before production. I worked with a nutritionist. I lost 26 pounds total for the project. I grew my nails for 6 months. I grew my hair out. I worked with the incomparable Larry Moss, who is an extraordinary acting coach. And he, along with Angela, created a language through which I was able to walk onto set and continue to live and breathe what we had already cultivated. But I, in my own time, also went to the Los Angeles County jail and went to what they call the Rainbow Wing, and did that. And I have several transgender friends, and so I really wanted to make sure that I was able to portray as much truth and love of these individuals who are much braver than you and I in coming into this world and claiming who they know they are. And so, I learned how to walk with a former Miss New York.
Yep. Basically, he went to finishing school.
I went through, etiquette school. I did the whole gamut of it.
Because Crystal was a very wealthy woman. Like, she came from a very wealthy family, so
And you can't fake that.
No,
you
can't fake that.
So.
You need to know how to wear your pearls.
But then lived as Crystal in New Orleans the whole time during filming, and that in itself was the most eye-opening, remarkable experience, because I told this story earlier, but the first time I went through camera test and I had gone through all of the makeup and everything, Angela was like, let's go out and you can meet, the rest of the cast. And so I went out and I passed. I mean, like,
Meaning you passed as a woman.
as a woman, like you would have never
You would have
known.
never known it.
And we went to a very fancy restaurant in New Orleans, and I was touched repeatedly by men. I was verbally accosted. I was asked for my number. It was relentless.
And then they got mad at him when he wouldn't give the number. Like, he experienced it. What we experience every day.
And I had no idea that that's what women experience on a continuous basis. And it really shifted my paradigm about the dialogue that we as men are told and how we are programmed to be with women from a very early age. And then when you add on top of that, being discovered as quote unquote a man, the danger factor. And that blew my mind. And I think if every man on the planet went through that process, this world would be a little different, to say the least.
So true.
So,
Yeah. Well, you gotta.
I bow to you ladies. I bow to you ladies, and you guys too, I guess. But.
Now, you made this project in New Orleans, Louisiana. Did you shoot on location at a real prison, or was the sound stages? Tell us about that process.
No, I am an actor's director, and I'm an actor myself, and I really wanted them to experience as much truth as possible, so I really insisted that we had to shoot in a prison. And that's actually why we shot in New Orleans.
We shot in 3 prisons. Yeah.
So 2 were actually empty, so they had recently been empty in September, and we were shot in January, so it was fresh. And it was spooky and horrible and
real prisoners who were just down the hall, you know what I mean?
It was horrible. And then we worked in a working prison so we experienced really like the buzzers go off and we have to stop shooting for, there's a certain amount of times while they're moving prisoners from one location to the other. It was intense, but I loved that. That's what we needed. And
there was no acting.
There was one scene that I actually locked him and Benka in the cell. I was like, you're in there and I'm not turning the camera off.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Have fun with that. That was actually one of my favorite moments.
Now, when is this project coming out? Do we have a release date yet?
The loose release date with our distributor is he wants to release it on the day that Andy and George were reunited. When we found that George had not died, they were reunited on November 12th. And November 12th, 2017 is a Sunday. But this movie very much is going to church. And so we want to... So the distributor's talking about doing a soft release, like on a Sunday. Why not? This movie already breaks rules. And then doing the proper, Friday night release the following Friday after. So it'd be the 17th. So I was like, really? That's so awesome and sweet to have it be the day that they were reunited. And he was like, yeah, it's heart, baby.
Yeah.
Oh. So everyone involved, the whole cast and crew was just incredible. And I had a rule. I did a big speech with everyone, individually and before we started filming, that I don't care whether you're catering or the lead actor, you have got to give 400% of your heart and be in it to win it for George, because we all know that George would have won the gold. Nobody questions that. So at our premiere here at Newport Beach, we got him the 1984 Olympic gold medal, and we're able to present it to him. Forget it. I was like, and we let Andy put it around his neck, and we all sang the national anthem. Oh, goosey bumps. And Crystal's very, very much around, and it breaks my heart that we don't have a picture of her, and she was literally erased, but she lives in a world that her family's, like way back in the 1800s, if we talked back to our husbands, we could get a lobotomy and be put into the insane asylum. It's very similar to that. They were just like, they didn't know what to do with her, and so they just conveniently made her get 50 years was her sentence for possession of narcotics. Like, that was a check getting signed and a little
Put
and
that
an
in
agreement.
context.
Yeah,
A child rapist getting 4 years
exactly.
for how many counts?
Raping 27 boys.
So it's like,
Yeah, you're like,
what are we doing here? What are we doing?
So they wanted
And
to
that's
lock.
the greater conversation as filmmakers that I think that we are really passionate about, is talking about how we are treating those men and women on the inside, and how we need to talk about prison reform and really kind of restructuring how we are, quote unquote, rehabilitating people. Because there's so many individuals that you and I would meet that don't belong, or that don't deserve the sentences that they got. So.
If people want to get more information about the movie, is there a website they should go to?
Yes, please, heartbabythemovie.com.
Heartbabythemovie.com.
Heartbabythemovie.com. And also georgeleymartin.com, because he can't get a loan because he's a felon, and so he's trying to start a boxing gym. So we're gonna fund that boxing gym. We're gonna get you a boxing gym, George. We're gonna do it.
Well, thank you guys for chatting with us today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.